Yes, that podcast is back in the Mojave for episode 20, looking at The Big Empty.
And it's not the end of the show, it's actually the start of the show.
And we actually have the title correctly for once.
Thank you very much for all the wonderful comments on iTunes. And
Yes.
To the listener who found the original song, it is called China Doll by Bert Whedon on the Notations album. Great little song. So if you actually wanted to have that song for yourself instead of listening to it on YouTube, now you know what it's called.
Which we never would have guessed.
No, actually, I thought Happy Times was the real name.
So yes, and we are back now that we know your pains and struggles. As another commenter had it on our iTunes page.
Yes, this is day one of the new DLC, and first impressions straight off the bat, James?
Well, it doesn't feel as constrained. That's what my first impression is. I mean, that wasn't true of Honest Hearts. It didn't feel constrained, but Dead Money definitely felt like you were in a rat trap and you had to get out. And in this, I feel much more like it's the same. It's not the same open world, but it feels more open world-ish than Dead Money certainly did, and even than Honest Hearts did. I don't know why. I mean, Honest Hearts wasn't really trapped, but Honest Hearts felt linear. And at least thus far in my initial playthrough that I've been doing on my Mac, using Parallels, it doesn't feel nearly as directed as Honest Hearts did.
I agree, and I think the key difference is optional quests.
Yes.
Lots of them. I mean, right off the bat, all of the personalities in your dormitory, I guess.
Now that's the question. Did you talk to everybody when you first get in and you meet the brains? Did you talk to every one of them? Well, all the ones that are available anyway.
I can individually go up to them and talk to them?
Yes.
No, I have not done that.
There's information for that. Yeah, you should do that. Especially if you go up to Dr. O, this is funny as heck. You find out that his real name isn't O. His real name is Dr. Zero. And once you explain that he can spell his name with a slash through the O to make it a zero instead of an O, he's happy as heck. Because he would have never thought of that.
Okay, let's rewind a bit back to the Mojave. Before I went into in this particular character playthrough, I hadn't gone to the down Vertibird yet.
Okay.
Which is really close by. And you got the Tesla cannon there.
Yes.
So I went and grabbed that before I started this. It was probably about 3 a.m. that I went to the midnight showing of the satellite. And so I rocked up with the Tesla cannon, which is a pretty darn good weapon for this particular DLC.
Yes, I discovered that for this DLC, the character that I had hand-honed as an unarmed specialist for Dead Money wasn't really what I needed for this DLC. It seemed like I really wanted energy weapon specialization.
Oh man, I tell you what, the Tesla cannon has broken. I need to repair it, and it's going to cost me 25,000 caps to repair this thing.
See, this is why I'm glad I'm still playing the character that has the 10 luck, because I've still got the horde of caps from bankrupting every single casino.
I've got about 18,000 caps. This is not that playthrough. I don't have all
you're poor. I've got like 63,000.
I tell you what, for this DLC, take all the money you can get before you go.
No kidding.
As another problem that I've run into, I've now officially run out of stim packs.
Really?
Yeah, this is actually quite a hard DLC.
Oh yeah, those stupid the robot scorpions. How many of those have you run into?
Quite a few.
See, they come in packs of like 3 or 4, and they're harder than they look.
Everything's harder than it looks. The lobotomized bad guys. Okay, so there are humans running around in this. Hey,
well, rewind it again. First, you start off and you start in sync, and you meet the brains who give you the task of going to find the evil Dr. Mobius. And this is like a 1950s, which is good for Fallout, 1950s bad sci-fi flick. You're going to find the evil scientist and stop him,
good sci-fi flick. It's super science gone mad.
Right. So you're going to find the evil science doctor who's gone mad. And you meet the brains who give you this task. And that's where I said, if you want some initial easy quests, you just talk to all of the ones you can talk to in that room. You'll get some information. And actually, if you haven't played Dead Money, or even if you have, you'll find out something about Father Elijah, because you'll find out about him having visited the Big Empty. And you'll find out that your apparent nemesis for the last DLC, the other courier, visited the Big Empty as well. They'll give you information about that.
There are lots of interesting tie-ins. There's a
and you'll find his logo painted all over the place too.
Okay.
The old world flag. If you look carefully on a couple of the buildings, you'll find it painted.
Okay. There was some interesting info on the auto dock system. The scientists who built it weren't terribly confident in such a machine and wouldn't put themselves into it. Let me put it that way. And yet it's spread everywhere. You know, it's used all over the place. So.
When did you catch on to how much they hated Sinclair, the brains?
Not yet.
If you talk to them, you find out that they have nothing but disdain for Sinclair.
Right. Yes, they sent him a prototype auto dock because they needed to treat people for the toxins that were at the Sierra Madre. That was interesting. So it's set in a big crater, essentially, and it does feel like an open world. And there are lots of places to explore. And one of the interesting things about it, when we say that it feels more open, is that you're kind of told not to explore.
Yeah, you're told not to explore, and in a sense, it's even unlike Fallout New Vegas in the sense. If you remember Fallout 3, you come out of the vault and you've got this vague quest to go find your dad, but there's a bazillion other things you could do and you'll get sidetracked easily.
It's just like that.
It's just like that. It's on a smaller scale, obviously, but it's like that.
But I'm going to say, the amount of content in this DLC is massive. The voice acting, I'm pretty sure one of the voice actors, maybe Dr. O, is henchman 22 from the Venture Brothers. I'm pretty sure. So that's some great casting there.
Yeah, this is probably the best DLC for a Fallout game I've seen since Point Lookout.
It's also nasty as heck. You remember Point Lookout where you have this quest and you end up getting a chunk of your brain taken out?
Yes.
Well, this game starts with you have your heart, your spine, and your brain taken out.
And do you like the way they put the perks in quotes? You know, where they tell you you've just received the perk, and they put it in quotes of how this, or this will not affect you or will affect you. And it's actually pretty cool. Since you don't have a brain anymore, headshots don't hurt you.
Yeah, the military police dogs have a stun ability.
Yeah.
And it's only affected me once so far.
Those dogs are tough, but they're not. And the worst thing about them is that there was a point where I was coming out of it's the X8 facility, where I got attacked by a pack of 6 of them and 2 Robo-Brains.
Yeah, they're not as bad as the Night Stalkers. Oh my god.
Oh, the only way I beat the Night Stalkers in that incident was that I actually backed up, and I think it was a physics glitch in the game where I backed up a column where they couldn't reach me.
Yeah, you've got a lot more pain coming your way. The lobotomized humans, they are tough as well. They don't react to pain.
Right.
They just keep coming.
Yeah, now against all the robotic things, you can use the sonic emitter gun that the brains will give you.
Yes, and it uses regular electron charge.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of ammunition for that thing.
Yeah, you have tons. I have something like 1,500 or 1,600 charges. No problem at all. And that's a great gun against everything that's robotic. Now, against the things that aren't robotic, it doesn't do so much.
Word of warning, the stealth suit, don't wear it in combat. The story goes along the lines of, stealth time over, you're now in combat. I don't want you to die, I'll just use this stim pack on you. And this stim pack. And this stim pack. And this stim pack. And before you know it, your stack of 100 stim packs is down to 0.
Really? It used stim packs that fast, huh?
Well, to be fair, those Night Stalkers do a lot of damage.
Yes, yeah, they do.
And that stealth suit kept me alive. But for a stealth suit, it's not very stealthy. That Dr. Mobius can find you even when you're wearing it. So I'm not sure what the goal of having it is.
Yeah, the thing that I've had the most trouble with hasn't been the Night Stalkers, but that's probably because I've only run across, I think, 2 of them. It's those robotic scorpions.
Yeah, they're pretty nasty, but you can kind of stay back from them.
Yeah, what I've done is I've gone back into corners and kept pounding them with my displacer fist.
Okay. I ended up prioritizing finding the Autodoc hollow personality chip because I ran out of stim packs. So now I have somewhere that I can a lot of these hard quests, they seem to bounce you between buildings, so you've always got a pause to go back to the main base, and I'll be using that pause to get healthy again. But I gotta say okay, so the first quest, you need to upgrade the sonic disruptor, sonic emitter, so that it can disable force fields. And that pretty much opens up the entire place to you.
Right, because if you go to various buildings, there are force fields blocking various aspects of the buildings off.
Yeah, and I feel like they've set this game up so that there are places you don't really want to go until you've got yourself leveled up in some fashion. And by some fashion, I'll get to that in a second.
Well, by leveled up, you don't mean levels, because I'm going into this at level 39.
No, I don't. So you go to the X8, which seems to be a training facility for anti-communist infiltration
That actually
techniques.
brought me back to Fallout 3. You remember the end of Fallout 3 in the Broken Steel quest where you listen to the anti-communist rantings of the big robot?
Yeah.
The whole school is like that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny actually. Yeah. So you've got to act as a communist spy to successfully infiltrate and steal student records as a training exercise to see if the security system's up to the challenge of stopping that. And you do that on the basic, and then you do that on the hard.
Now, did you get a robot dog, a cyber dog, as a brief companion in that building?
I did not.
If you go into the DNA splicing lab, there is a machine you can use where one of the options is combine robot and dog.
I went into the DNA splicing lab and made a robo brain, and he got zapped by a force field.
Okay, well, but
after talking about what does life mean for a creature like me, it's such an adventure, and then
Okay, well, that didn't happen to me. I made a cyber dog, but the cyber dog didn't make it back out of the building. One of the packs of other cyber dogs finally killed it off.
That would have helped. So, getting through that twice, you discover that you need to find what you're looking for at X35 or 38 or
one of the other buildings. I had to leave, and that was when I got set upon by the robot scorpions and night stalkers, and that's actually about as far as I've gotten in the game, to be honest.
Well, that's where you get the stealth suit.
Okay.
And let me see. There's a training course for the stealth suit. It's sort of a symbiotic device, I guess you'd say. And as you do the training, it can upgrade and become a better stealth suit.
But it sounds like I don't want to wear it in combat if it's going to use up all my stim packs. Because you say you went in with over 100. I only went in with like 50-something.
Well, I can't see where. I think I might have to cook them or something once I get the.
Actually, if you go to a chemistry set, you can make 5 more every time you go to one of the chem sets.
Yeah, I'll need to figure that out, but you can't turn that on yet until I get the holo chip for it, which is going to be a priority.
The chem sets are just available. If you walk up to them, you can make 5.
The cookery isn't though. The cooking machine isn't though.
Okay, I was able to make them.
Okay, so after you've done that. All of these buildings seem to have multiple courses that you can do over and over again to get more stuff. And the Night Stalkers are the unusual specimen back at X8.
Yes.
And you can activate the course with the Night Stalkers in there, and that's where I used up the remainder of my...
Okay, now let me ask you that. When you were in that building, and you go into the room where you have to find the thing that the cyber dog is buried...
Oh, and there's the giant cyber dog.
And there's the giant cyber dog. Did you kill Gabe?
Hell yeah.
Okay, so did you notice one of the brains goes basically into crying jag after you kill Gabe? And then did you notice that all the buildings catch on fire at that point inside that room?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just weird.
That's Mobius though. He's attacking.
Okay.
I think Gabe was made by Mobius.
I think so, but Gabe wasn't that tough.
No, he wasn't, but he has 2 really important pieces of technology in there. One is a kind of a weird halo thing that gives you health regeneration.
Yes, I got that.
And the LAER weapon, which is sort of a radioactive laser.
Yeah, it looks like there's some really cool stuff in this DLC. I'm looking forward to see what else there is further on, because, like I said, where you're at is I'm just past that point. I've just gotten out of that building for the first time.
Yeah, going back there and doing the basic and advanced course again with the Night Stalkers, I pretty much said, "Oh, screw this is crazy." And I started using my stealth boys to get through. But they found me anyway because they're night stalkers.
Right, and stealth boys are pretty uncommon in Fallout New Vegas compared to Fallout 3. I remember there was a playthrough of Fallout 3 I went through relatively recently where by the end of the game I had something like 20 stealth boys.
I probably had more than that, in fact, in Fallout 3. But yeah, you're right. And these Night Stalker dogs, with Night Stalker heads on top of dog bodies, yeah, they can see you stealth in any way, shape, or form. So it's, a completely wrong tactic for me. I don't know how I'm going to struggle through the rest with so little stim packs. I'm going to have to try and make them. But yeah, that's really tough. I recommend you just run for it. That's the strategy I used at the end. I just ran for it because they can't get out of the test chamber.
Right. What I was using with the Cyberdogs was backing into a corner. But yeah, I can see where Night Stalkers, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, these things are vicious, vicious things. So then after that experience, I went straight for the auto dock holodisc, and I'll be looking for more of those holodiscs to get all of the companions in the sync up and running.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I guess I'm going to talk to all those brains now that I realized that I should have been.
There's information you can get out of them. It's pretty cool.
With the Explorer perk on, I know where everything is already, but I still have to go there. And the lobotomized people and night stalkers all over the place do make it pretty tricky.
Yeah. Well, with that, do you want to play the feedback we got?
Right. So we got an audio feedback, which we encourage. Maybe we shouldn't. Here we go.
Hey guys, I made this recording because my iPod wouldn't send videos that are that long, and I'm too lazy to type. This is from Michael, Mackie, and James. I had a Deathclaw spawn in the middle of Freeside. I didn't know if it was a glitch or it was some weird hack thing, because I was playing on my friends at the time. I didn't have Fallout New Vegas, but I do now. And I had a ranger walk up to me and before I went into the strip, and he gave me a radio in case I needed help from the NCR. But the Securitron shot him, and I didn't know the game would set it up like that. But I don't know. Thanks for having time for me for listening to this. If I can email this, I don't know if I can.
So
hey,
that's darn funny.
But the funny thing is, I've never seen the Securitrons shoot the Ranger giving you the radio, but I can definitely believe it happening. Those Securitrons sometimes just shoot first and ask questions never.
Have you ever used that radio?
No, the couple of times I tried to press it.
I wanted to use it,
I was
out of range.
Yes, every time I thought it would be useful, I was out of range. Yes, every single fracking time.
I think maybe the best time to use it might have been when going for the Drogos, the Psycho Drogos in Vaults. What's the Mijiga?
Not 34. It's 13, is it, or?
The one that's not too far away from McLaren.
Yeah, the one that's near McLaren, where you're supposed to, you go clear them out. That's where Motor Runner is. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit of a siege. That might have been the right time to use it.
Yeah, well, that's the one. By the second playthrough, you learn that what you do is you tell them that you have chems to sell. You go all the way to the bottom and you shoot your way from the bottom up.
Oh yeah, I did that the first time I played.
Yeah.
There were just too many people around. I was much better off lying to their face than starting a gunfight.
But at the Deathclaw, I've never seen a Deathclaw spawn in Freeside. That's just wild. I mean, again, with this engine, I can believe almost anything. But
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah, with this engine, I would believe that it could happen. But
if a Deathclaw spawned in Freeside, it would kill probably half the population before it was done. The Deathclaws in New Vegas are nasty.
I don't know. I think the machines would probably take it down.
The machines would, but before it got to the strip, it might kill half the population of Freeside.
And it's interesting to see how the system would react. So something being hostile, attacking the general population, would it react properly? I mean, we just recently had another podcast we do, which is about computer science stuff. And we had a guy in there who built, as his job, a simulation engine, essentially, for military conflicts. And it's sort of like the Big Brother version of this stuff. Would the Securitrons actually respond to the Deathclaw properly? I would love to.
Or is it not programmed for that? Yeah, you gotta wonder.
I would actually suspect that they would react properly.
They probably would.
I think they would. So, very, very funny. Stuff like that. This engine, it's beyond a joke. Even back at Fallout 3 days, it was bad. This latest DLC, I've crashed 3 or 4 times already just today.
Yeah, I crashed once.
The usual save twitch that is well known to all Fallout players still applies.
Yep.
Make sure you save often.
Save early, save often.
Because it will crash. I haven't really zeroed in on how it's crashing yet, but it just seems that there's a lot going on in this DLC. When I first came to the sink, when I left, I think there was some junk falling back in Mojave, and behind the wall somewhere there was like the falling sound of junk bouncing around crazily, and it only went away after I'd restarted the game.
Well, that's something that you see commonly with this engine, where you'll cut, especially you'll see this with fast travel or with walking through doors, where you'll have cleaned out all the monsters in an area, and then you fast travel back to the area, and you see this around GNR a lot if you play Fallout 3. You fast travel to GNR, and you can see the super mutants falling to the ground.
Yeah.
Happens in this engine a lot.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious to see how Fallout 4 is going to be, especially with Skyrim coming out.
It should be on that Skyrim engine, which should be more awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we can cross our fingers and hope. The teaser videos for Skyrim have me very excited. The dragon fight in the gameplay teaser,
yeah,
amazing. Well, I think that's all we have for now. We need to get further into this DLC
So we'll have more to say once we get further in.
Yep.
All right. Well, with that, you want to take us out, Michael?
Yeah, let me just find the thing to play. I'll play the real version. There we go. Skip to there.
Got feedback? Send it to jarober@gmail.com or visit the website at jarober.com/blog/fnv.ssp.